All right, we're back in regular session. Joanne, you want to make that motion?
I would like to thank the team from Workshop for coming to present today as part of their contract with the Tourism Department. They will present the media buy to the committee, and I will just ask the committee for consensus for them to move ahead. We don't need anything more than that. Just the fact that they were able to present, there was some question and answer, and we're ready to move ahead with that spend for the summer months.
All right, somebody want to move that? Mr. Leggett, can you second it?
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, just
Yes.
briefly, there's one other page here about next steps. Are we going to go through this?
Yeah.
Prior to or after? I don't think it really matters, but I'm just hoping to go through this.
Just a quick last page.
Yep.
Would you like us to go through?
Yeah, why don't we just go?
We want to go with the motion first, or you want to go with that one?
Let's just go through this first, the last page.
All right.
Mind.
We'll hold on that motion. We missed the last step.
Yep. Okay, so just reviewing our next steps, to kind of recap what we've done so far. We've done a seasonal kickoff meeting, which we do prior to each season, with Joanne and Peter, determine the audiences, messaging, goals, budgets. Overall, we have built the media plan, which we shared with you today, and share that with the tourism committee. We have determined the assets for each of the campaigns and the due dates, all of which have already been received. We create the ad mock-ups and deliver those for feedback and approval. We work with the TV stations to negotiate rates and spots with the TV vendors, sending traffic to the TV vendors as well. Part 6 here is setting up the campaign for the digital tactics, which involves doing the tracking code creation, uploading all the ads, tracking the platforms, campaign setup with budgets, target demographics, and geographics, and the internal campaign setup, review, and approval. Our 7th step is to launch the campaign, and then we do a daily and weekly campaign monitoring and make optimizations as needed. At the end of the campaign, we do an in-depth campaign report and deliver that, and meet with Joanne and Peter to discuss the report and review all of the performance.
Since this campaign is a little bit longer, we will pull a report just immediately following that pre-4th of July flight, so we have an update on where things stand.
Mr. Weil, any questions on that?
I have two, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Maybe three. I'm a little confused about the roles and responsibilities of Ad Workshop versus our tourism organization. Who does what? Because I think the last time we had a discussion, I heard that we basically do all the creative build, or the majority of the creative build, but there's a section here that says that they do some, sounds like they're doing some creative building. So could you just help me understand that creative aspect of it, and then the general overview of what Ad Workshop does versus what we as our Warren County Tourism Department does to direct all this stuff to happen?
Sure. The asset creation here is mostly for the native ads. So we provide them images and they'll feed those into, it's almost like a template that fits the page layout. So if you're on like Yahoo News, that feed that you scroll through will look much different than if you're on PostStar. And how the native will work is that image will propagate, and then the title where, so that's how that gets built. Creation from my perspective is I build in conjunction with our TV production company, I build the spot out with them, all the creative stuff that goes into that. Banner ads, I'll build those banner ads. The website that the guest is coming back to, I build all of that. And mostly this is just placement. Any expertise outside of creative, that's my forte is the art, and these guys are the purchasing power and where our dollars are best spent and how to deliver them. So trafficking TV spots, it has to go from our TV production company. That file has to get delivered to X, Y, and Z station, and that's where they put the link in.
So is it fair to say that we do the majority of the creation, the creative aspect, but the actual where it's placed and when it's placed is done by Ad Workshop with the overview from the tourism department?
That is accurate.
Okay. Secondly, number 8, there's daily and weekly campaign monitoring. Does the tourism department get involved in that? And how quickly are we able to pivot if there's opportunities for us to move?
Yeah, certainly we are involved in that. They'll notify us that they see a trend developing, a la maybe golf is picking up, and it's kind of just asset management. So rob Peter to pay Paul. You know, we have to find that money from somewhere to double down on the things that are working really well. So one of the things that we've found is we have really good campaigns going on, and so it is difficult to pull money out of stuff that's running well, but that's the decision we have to make, is say, you know, this one is performing better, and let's double down on that.
Thanks.
And often there's A and B testing with some of the ads. So, you know, we'll get a monitorization of that, and A is performing better than B, and it's just a usual marketing tactic, but
Thanks. I'm
make that
happy with that.
determination.
There's a couple members from our business community that are here, and Joanne, I'm sure you've heard me talk about it before. In my mind, there's different organizations within Warren County promoting our tourism. And in my perspective, it would be ideal if the business community can leverage what we're doing, and we can leverage what the business community is doing, so we don't both go to New York City on the same day and the same evening and have visit Lake George or Lake George is Great or whatever we do for Warren County happening at the same time. So is there any kind of coordination between us and the business community in terms of when and where we're advertising? So again, so we can leverage that to the greatest return for our region as a whole.
If I could, yeah, there is a bit of that. In general terms, we released the marketing plan, which kind of outlines month by month, like what we'll be featuring, and then what's our secondary plan. So again, go back to March, Maple Days is the big feature. So if it makes sense for someone to tap into that, they certainly can. And then as far as, geez, I lost my train of thought here. But yeah, we have the outline there. And,
Yeah, no, the marketing plan, I think, laid it out, and it's not as detailed as this, but shares with anyone who wants to read it what our outlook is for the upcoming year.
And I know that there was great cooperation when COVID hit and how well we worked together to make that happen. And I'm just trying to make sure that we keep that moving forward, because I just think it makes sense. The last thing I have is, what metrics do we use to measure whether Ad Workshop is the right business for us to be partnering with? And I know this isn't a easy question to answer, but I think from our due diligence standpoint, how do we know whether we're with the right organization or not? And do we need to look outside to get another view of what we're doing to make sure that we're efficient and effective?
Yeah, I feel like that kind of is self-evident in the bidding process. We selected them based on their bid proposal, and then we renew it based on their performance. At any point in time, if it's the decision of the board to go a different direction, we'll entertain that idea. I think that when we reviewed the applications that came in, there's commission percentages that ranged wildly.
Mm-hmm.
There were certainly 2 very competitive bids that came in, and we evaluated both of them. I think at the time we brought both of them to the board and kind of let the board weigh in on where to go. And ultimately, our recommendation was provided and accepted. But certainly that happens. It has to happen at least every 4 years, because I think it's a 1-year contract with 3 renewals. So at a minimum, that happens every 4th year. And anytime you'd like to do that before, we certainly can. I think the process, which should start, if you're interested in that, really early in the season in order to make sure we have time to get the bids out, evaluate them, and get someone in here to work it. I will say, though, that for the record, since my tenure has been here, I've been working with 2 companies for media purchasing, and of the 2, these guys are by far the better company.
I don't know how to evaluate that other than to trust you with your response. But thank you. I just had to get that off my chest, because if it's up to this board to make a decision about whether we're investing in the right area, I don't know about the rest of this committee, but this stuff is all smoke and mirrors to me sometimes. So it's hard for me to move forward, but I'll stop.
Mr. Stroud.
Got the point.
I find the big picture is we've been doing fantastic. I mean, the Lake George region, the sales tax, the OC tax, the traffic, any meter that you want to use to measure the success of what we're doing, it's showing blue ribbon. What we're doing is working. So I look at it from, the aerial view. If we're doing this and this and this and this, and it's working, and we're doing better than ever, then we must be doing something right.
That's usually my speech. I go by the OC tax and sales tax and the traffic. It's hard to measure every little bit of it. Plus every business has their own advertising budget, every business. So if we're advertising in New York to come up here and go mountain biking, I imagine a lot of the hotelers and business people are doing the same thing on there. So they're all going to be same. Because we advertise in New York about mountain bike, doesn't mean all the other people are going to stay away from it and hope our advertising works. So there is a lot of overlap, and you see it a lot. But that's individual businesses do, and the chamber does the things they need to do. Even if we overlap once in a while, it's. I don't think it really hurts as long as we get the message out.
Yeah, and Mr. Chairman, I'm not quite.
No, I know, I understand that.
It's my big business experience that says, can we do better? And I'm not trying to have any affront to our friends from Ed Workshop. They're right. It's great results. So I'll be quiet for a while. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? And we'll move into the last up. Oh, yeah, we had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Thank you. All right, let's go.
So along with that, we would love to show you our new video for the upcoming summer, and the footage was shot last year. Peter and I worked closely with Working Pictures, so Peter can answer any questions relative to the videos that we'll show you today.
You can start with the 15. So each year we try and build a campaign for the following season. So this past year was building the summer one, which is always the most fun because there's so many nice resources to showcase.
Shared.
These particular pieces that we're going to show today are there'll be a 15-second, we create a 30-second, and we create a 60-second. And they showcase a heavy outdoor recreation perspective that resonated us with the consumers really well last year. We look to continue the momentum we've built with it.
Was that you, Peter? Did I see you on that mountain?
Yeah, yeah.
I was in one a while ago.
What trail's this?
Gurney.
So that 15-second one is a perfect piece, and there's 3 versions of that. But that's a perfect piece for like the news channels. Just kind of put them in between stories and run them frequently. They don't cost as much.
this one now?
Yeah,
60
it's-
second?
Yes, please.
Getting good. I'd like to go.
There you go. So as Peter said, 15, 30, and 60 seconds. The 60 encompassed most of the attractions and heavily outdoor recreation around the county, but each little segment has a different purpose. So that will be our summer campaign. And that's through our vendor with Working Pictures in Albany. Working Pictures will traffic, and they call it trafficking, and get the correct format to our partners over at Workshop. So it's good to have the vendors kind of run in sync because they work with each other. So I think I brought that up at other committee meetings when we're talking about the different contracts that we have and how they run concurrently. But they've done a fine job for us. We've won in the past 3 or 4 awards for our videos. So they will submit this to whatever regional advertising awards, and I'm sure when I'm not here next year, Peter will accept that award graciously for us.
They get mail down there?
I think that's it for this agenda. I do have one item that we may go into executive session for, personnel, and I don't have the exact phrase
Did we vote on
for
that?
the need to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter about a specific individual.
Would be a matter leading to the employment of a particular person or corporation.
All right, Mr. Dickinson, you make the
that.
motion. Do I get a second? Mr. Stroud? Shouldn't take too long, so don't worry about leaving. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Next is October.
We're in executive session.
Good job.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,